Your car guy. We're going to do a little project on the 1993 Corvette today. We've got a headlight out, and with these pop-up headlights, it's really not difficult at all to change the headlights. First thing we need to do is we want to get this headlight cover off, so this white piece. And I've got the hood open, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, this is our headlight motor, and I can turn this counterclockwise, and what it's going to do is it's going to partially open this headlight. And by doing that, I'm going to get access to, there's the two screws here, but there's two that are up under there that we're going to flip them so they'll be sticking out on the top side of the hood. And these will be easy to access from this bottom side once I do this. So we'll run our headlight about that far open, and you'll see I can get to those screws, but I now have access for the screw here and the other screw right here. These are Phillips. The other two underneath are Torx. Probably a T20 if I had to guess, but I'll tell you here in just a second. These two screws are actually a T15 Torx, and I'll just get those removed, and I'll remove my two Phillips screws. I'm actually gonna remove my two Phillips screws before I remove these fully. I'm gonna just get these loose because I'm gonna pull this cover out from the inside here, and I don't want it to just be falling around once I have everything out. So I'm gonna take the two Phillips out, and then I'll come get the rest of these T15s. All right, with my Phillips screws out, I remove my two T15s. Now I can take this headlight bucket out of the way, put it somewhere safe, make sure I don't step on it. Now we can get to the headlight, and it's pretty easy to get to. So we've got these Phillips screws that hold the bucket. You'll see that there's two underneath here and the two here. We're going to take those off. This will take this trim ring off that holds the light bulb in. Once you get the four screws out, that whole trim ring is going to come right off. Trim ring out of the way, the headlight's now going to come right out, and we can unplug it by just pulling this. So we're going to hold this with one hand and pull this plug out. There are no retaining pins. It's just a simple unplug it. So let's face it, by modern standards, these old halogen sealed beam lights just aren't that great. So I'm going to upgrade with a set of these HWStar LED headlights that I bought from Amazon. And yes, it's a lot more expensive than just going back with a standard bulb. I could go with a standard bulb and be significantly cheaper, but I'm going to enjoy having some brighter headlights, and you'll see the difference here. Same size, but I've got my LED light, and then this trim light that can either be used as a driving light or even hooked up to the turn signal as well, because I don't want to mess with the wiring a whole lot. I'm not going to hook it up to the turn signal. These are pop-up headlights. But this is basically a direct replacement bolt-in. This is an aluminum housing and glass light, so they're not the cheapest lights, but it's pretty much a plug-and-play operation. Okay, so I simply plugged this in, and I've got this part so that it's going to actually look like a smiley face when the light's on. It's upside down right now, but when it flips up with the light, and it fit perfectly into the housing. Now I did run the white wire to the low beams positive wire so that this will be on when the low beams are on. Now I need to put this trim ring on. So you see this split part of the trim ring? You want that to be on what's going to be the bottom of the light. And bottom of the light, while you're doing this, is going to be upside down, so it's going to be facing up. That keeps that hidden. So now we just put in our four screws that retain that ring, and we'll put our cover back on. So something you'll probably find helpful, start all four of the screws before you tighten any of them up. That way, if there's any alignment issues, you're not fighting it. I'm going to go ahead and remove this plastic film that's on this new light, keeping it nice and beautiful before I put my cover on. And now we'll just slide our cover up in here, and reattach our screws, our Torx screws up here, and our Phillips underneath. Now that we got our cover reinstalled, I'll just turn this light back up to where it was in position by turning this knob on the motor clockwise. Which these are great if you actually say your motors or something goes out and you can't get your lights to flip up. You can manually get them up by doing this. All right, there it is. We're gonna go ahead and see how these lights look. I know it's middle of the day and it's beautiful, but it's a nice day to be out working in the winter. We'll see how this LED looks against our factory halogen. There we have it. We've got the new LED set in there, and I tell you, it looks really good. We're gonna switch the other headlight over to the LED. It's the exact same process on the other side. Nice, beautiful light. You see, very bright. And you know, we may have to adjust our angles, but we can work on that later when it's dark and we can actually see what we're doing. There you have it. New LED headlights. I personally think they look great. You may not like the style, but I do. I think I'm probably going to go ahead and do LED for the rest of the lights underneath here as well at a future date. But installing the headlights was quick and easy. This upgrade to these HWStar lights, very simple. It's not the cheapest, but based on the reviews that I'd read, these should be a good light and last for the life of the car, honestly. And we'll see how they do with some nighttime driving. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so how good are these LED headlights? Well, you can see we've got quite the bright road in front of us. For whatever reason, my camera's decided it wants to turn on a light as well because it's dark outside. But you can see how well it's lighting up the road. Can't throw the high beams right now because we got somebody right in front of us, but it is definitely much brighter. Beautiful beam pattern. I'm very happy with them. They look great in the car. The only thing I did notice is that the high beam indicator is staying partially on. You'll see it. Just a low glow with the low beams on. Not quite sure why yet. We'll get that figured out. But it does glow brighter with the high beams on. But the function of the lights is fantastic. Very bright. You can see we've got a great beam spread. The road is lit up magnificently well. And I'm very happy with these. Alright, so here's the look without any extra lights. But boy, you can see how well the road is lit up with these new lights. Great beam pattern. We're not blinding oncoming drivers. It's got a really good cutoff at the top of the beam. Overall, an excellent upgrade for the lights for the Vette. You know, the old halogens were a little weak. I'm really impressed with these. Really happy with how they look. So if you're thinking about doing this with this type of light,